The following is a Candlepin Stars and Strikes rebroadcast featuring some of our most memorable programs.
WNDS Sports and Tri-State Megabucks present Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Oh, look at this. Look at this! He got it! Ready for a spare!
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is sponsored in part by Washington Toyota Dodge Nissan. Looks good.
Looks good! That's good to go! It's a
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is produced in conjunction with the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. And now your hosts, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Hi, everybody, and welcome once again to Park Place Lanes here in Windham, New Hampshire. So glad you could join us for another edition of Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Doug Brown, along with Dan Murphy, we have reached a semifinal week, and I think we knew coming into this series that the three guys at the top of this list were going to be very, very tough to beat. And as it turns out, the top three guys are the three guys we have remaining.
That's right. And those three guys, we talked about the number of wins they had combined. They're just three of the top Candlepin bowlers. We couldn't ask for anything better.
All right, let's meet two of them because they'll be battling in the semifinals today, and the third one awaits the winner in the finals next week. First of all, our number 3 seed from Lynn, Massachusetts, Mike Morgan.
Mike comes in averaging 128, high triple of 474, his roll-off score 640.
And if you missed it last week, Mike won his match with a closing game of 171 to finish with a 401 and knock off Fred Ranella. So today, Mike Morgan goes for his second straight win against our number 2 seed from Plastow, New Hampshire, Gary Carrington.
Okay, Gary averaging 132, high triple of 480, his roll-off score 641.
All right, of course, prize money on the line, $250 to the runner-up today. We also have $200 in our bonus ball contest a little bit later on in the hour. And of course, the winner of this match moves into next week's championship match, where the big money will be at stake and also a spot in the Tournament of Champions. We will start this 3-game match here at Park Place Lanes between Gary Carrington and Mike Morgan right after these messages. Well, there are those three guys that we were talking about, the top three in this roll-off, the three that are remaining. So far, in the first two matches of this series, the seedings have held. Fred Ranella knocked off number 5 seed Dan Mitchell, and then last week, the number 3 Mike Morgan defeated Fred Ranella. So we move to the semifinals. Gary Carrington hoping that the seeds will hold once again, but he'll have to get by this man, Mike Morgan. I'll tell you what, Dan, as always with sports, it's impossible to predict, and with all the hype sometimes that is associated with certain events, sometimes it's not warranted. But with the three guys that are going to be participating in these two matches this week and next week, the possibility exists for some really terrific stuff.
That's for sure. You saw a struggling Mike Morgan last week, especially the middle game, and then all of a sudden he found a groove, and out of nowhere he throws a 171.
If you missed the end of last week's show, Mike had 121 pins in the last 6 boxes, including 5 marks in a row. He went double strike, spare, double strike. Actually, we mentioned it at the time, had he thrown a 3rd strike in a row in the 10th, he had a shot at a 200.
So in the series of boxes, the 5th through the 9th, he threw six balls. Kind of boggles your mind a little bit.
$19 opening pair for Mike Morgan. Now Gary Carrington, who was last here during the Tournament of Champions last May. Gary came in to that event as the number 3 seed. His first match, he threw a huge 456 to beat John Plant. And then in the semifinals, he lost to Chris Sargent, who was the eventual champion last year, and Gary just missing.
Great bid there. for a spare.
We mentioned this statistic last week, but it's worth repeating as we get another look at Gary's spare attempt. That among the three guys that are the 1, 2, and 3 seeds in this series, Joe Ashline, Gary Carrington, and Mike Morgan, at least one of those three guys has been in every Tournament of Champions except one. And as amazing as that is, perhaps the only thing more amazing is that Paul Berger has been in all 7 of them by himself as Gary gets on the board with a strike. The 3 and the 7 for Mike Morgan.
The angle that wood, if he's on that 3-pin, he's going to have a chance to make the 7 because the angle of the wood's going to throw that 3-pin. Ooh, right behind it.
Oh, Mike, come on, get up everything.
9 for Mike. This was the lane that Mike had trouble with last week up until the last few boxes. And when he was having trouble doing exactly what he did there, punching through the middle.
Come on, get the 9, Mikey, come on.
So he'll be open for the first 4 frames. Gary Carrington will be working on a strike as he goes up on lane 32.
Gary on a strike through the center. Breaks it up a little bit, avoiding the spread eagle. And the 10 for Gary, and he establishes an early 10-pin lead. And now he's opposite a 7-box. A little full, but he gets away with it as he breaks up the split. 10-pin remaining. Almost had the 2-10.
Last time over here he threw the strike in the second frame. He almost duplicated it that time, but he'll get the spare instead on the 4th.
And Mike gets the wood to turn a little bit, and he has the 2 and the 9, but that wood in the back may be a problem.
I'd want to be above the red line, to the left of the red line. Turn that wood a little bit. It's right on the red line.
Got it. First mark for Mike Morgan.
Let's get that ball mixed a little bit here.
One of the voices you hear in the background urging on Mike is his older brother, Tom. Not a lot older, though. Oh, great Brooklyn hit. Strike on spare.
This looks like he's going to find lane 31 a little quicker than he did last week. You see the strike in the 1-2 pocket, 5 and 9 pins for the strike. Gary Carrington working on a spare on lane 32.
Gary's trying to solve this lane. His 2 marks have been on lane 31. 7 on the spare, and the 1-3-7 for another one. And no. That'll be a 9-box. And a 9-pin lead for Gary Carrington. But now facing a strike. Gary in the pocket a little light, but he got away with it as he faces the 2, 5, and 7.
Wood in between the 2 and 5s. You gotta be careful that doesn't throw the 2 in front of the 5.
Oh, he got it.
You get a little more body English there. See, Gary was thinking the same thing. Drive the pin straight back. So he puts a mark up in the 6th, as already Mike Morgan has with a strike in the 6th.
On a strike. Looking for the double, and he's got it! Had 2 of them in the 3rd game last week.
Just barely catches the head pin, but watch the mixing action. Just touching it off the sidewall. 7-pin, and finally the 8. Spare double strike. Big ball in the match right here, early.
Uh-oh. Just 3. And 5 on the 2nd strike.
Well, break for Gary Carrington, really, because that basically 2 good spares. That's all that amounts to now with the 7 frame.
Mike knows it. We always mention every time somebody gets a double strike how big that next ball is. The reason is because it's just more important than if you were just on a single mark. That first ball counts double when you're on a single mark. When you're on a double strike, it counts triple. Oh, look, Gary Carrington trying to answer, and he comes up with a 9 fill on his spare.
But I think both bowlers are setting the tone for this match. This is going to be back and forth. Probably 2 really good 3-string totals. Probably going to take a 400 to win this match.
Gary gets his first mark on lane 32. So he goes back-to-back for the first time. And even with the double strike, he will not lose his lead. A little too full that time. Oh, look out. Oh, my. Oh, he threw that 2-pin over there. It looked like he had a great chance, but it didn't do that much damage. Took out the 6 and left the 3 and the 10. Gary went down to 1 knee. He thought he had a good chance. So did I. Watch the placement of this ball. Perfect. But it just didn't do anything.
Nope. What has to happen there is it come in contact with either the 10 or the 3-pin immediately to get moving one way or the other. Kind of just settle down in between the 2.
Still just 7 pins the difference in this match right now. And the 9-box for Mike. Last week, Mike went 128, 102, 171. And a strike in the 10th, which will put him into the 120s for this opening game. Unless he throws another one, and then it could be in the 130s.
Solid 9-pin. Leaves the 9-pin, solid 9-pin drop, leaves the 9-pin, then finally goes over for the strike. 119 plus 2 balls. And a possibility of taking the lead, depending on what Gary does in the 9th and the 10th.
Oh, here about it. There it is. Well, it doesn't count as much here in the 10th as it would have in the middle. But it is another double strike for Mike Morgan. Wow. So he will go into the 130s.
Went through 2 whole strings last week without a strike, and you got to feel that he's going to throw some. Well, he threw 4 in the last game, and now he's got 4 in this game.
Off target on this one, and just 4 on the last ball, so 133 for Mike Morgan. He had 5 marks in the string, 4 of them were strikes. So Gary Carrington will need a mark here in the final 2 to keep his lead. And he almost had it on the first ball.
This match may come back to those double strikes. On one hand, you say, well, without the double strikes, I'm quite a bit further behind. But on the other hand, if he loses by a few, he's going to wish he could fill those a little better than he did.
Right.
But Gary gets a spare in the 9th.
Off target on the fill, a half Worcester. Looking for the spare and kicked the 5-pin the wrong way. So Mike Morgan will have the lead after game 1. But a very close match. $10 for Gary Carrington, a 129, and he trails by 4 after 1 here on Stars and Strikes. Gary Carrington starts game 2 with a big first ball, leaves the 5 and 9. But the wood...
Really difficult
yeah.
out front. Now it's rolling, one of them is rolling back. From my angle, I can't tell if he can see that 5-pin or not. I don't think he can.
Maybe the extreme right edge of it. That's about it.
Might want to play that one to the right. Carry the ball off that into the 5, but I don't know about the 9.
Oh, got
boy.
it.
That was a great shot. Actually, used both of them. Used the right one and then into the left one, and then finally the 2 pins went down.
The wood separating like that made it a little bit easier for him. At first, the wood was together.
Oh, I can't help it.
Hey, Gary, go for a re-rack there?
Well, that's twice he's done. No, he walks in front of the ball return, and when he gets on the other side, he resets the machine. Unfortunately, he's on the side that he should be bowling. He resets the wrong machine. That's done twice, and of course his friends here don't let him live it down. Now he's all set. Lane 31.
Oh, and Gary knew that. Yeah, he knew that was going to be full also. Just 3.
He said, I want another re-rack.
Look out! Look out!
Oh, great try.
Oh, wow. Boy, he nearly made the spread eagle earlier, and then that one. Let's watch it again.
Ooh. See how it jumps off that 5-pin. That 5-pin in there means all the difference in the world to the spread eagle alone.
And Mike Morgan starts
Another
with
one.
a strike. Wow. That's 5 strikes already in this match for Mike Morgan.
In 11 boxes.
Come on, Mike. Keep that concentration all day here now. Come on. Put that same ball right here, kid.
Light this time, wants the 10 pin to go. Well, doesn't want it to turn too much. Possibilities. The wood might be a little too far out to carry the 10 pin, but we'll see.
The wood in the channel might help.
Might keep it in play.
Nope.
Hey, Mike, grab a stick now. Come on, every pin.
Wow. Oh, he gave that a shot. Got it way over to the left on the 7 pin and threw it over toward the 10, but we'll take the 9 box. Gary Carrington with a 641 in the roll-off, which was good enough for second place, but some 47 pins behind Joe Ashline in first.
Oh! And he was playing it that way all the way, because you could tell by the body English. He was trying to snap it off the wall. Right there.
Just tapped it from behind. Oh, great pocket hit that time. Doesn't get a break on the 7 or 8.
He's 7 and 8, but he's got a piece of wood way out in front of the 7 and the 8, and also a couple pieces to the right. I think he's definitely going to play the one out front, but be careful it doesn't come in contact with the wooden channel of the sidewall first.
Oh, got it.
Great shot.
2 great shots there for Gary Carrington, both spares.
Come back, answer the call, brother. Come on, Morgan, answer the call.
8 marks for Gary Carrington in 12 boxes. Make it 14 boxes. Mike Morgan gets a break, and he has a spare lead. The 2-4.
That's the good news. The great news is that he's got a nice piece of wood out in front. Red liner to the right, no problem.
Got it. That's only the second spare in the match for Mike Morgan.
We talk about that all the time. More strikes than spares usually means doom. But in Mike's case, he's throwing doubles, so kind of live without the spares if you can do that. 2-4-5 triangle. Trying to make it 2 in a row and 3 out of the first 4 boxes of the second game.
Ooh, a little too far to the left.
One left, Mike. You get to 10.
10, and that brings us to a break, almost to the halfway point, and this match is just about dead even. Gary Carrington and Mike Morgan continue in a minute. Gary Carrington working on a spare here, left over in the 4th box, game 2, and with a large fill, he can retake the lead in the match. He trails by 7 right now.
How about a tie game?
Yeah, how about it?
3, 4, and 6 left for Gary, and no wood left on the plate. So he's going to do this on his own. Trying to go inside.
You saw Gary's record here on Stars and Strikes, 8 and 12, but that's somewhat deceiving. it seems like Gary has, more than anyone else, thrown big scores and yet lost to even bigger scores on a couple of occasions, several occasions. Plus, if you've been here now 21 times, you've got to be doing something right.
Well, 2 open frames for Mike Morgan, trying to get the lead back. We're deadlocked after 14 boxes.
Come on, Morgan, a little move right now, kid. Come on, Morgan, keep hanging that front one, Mikey.
Mike came up a little bit short on that one, half Worcester right.
Come on, Morgan, big ball here. Come on, take the front one. Everything goes here.
Six box for Michael.
Morgan, slow things down a little bit, brother. Mike, you got a black 80 up there. Slow it down, Ted.
And kicks out 1 pin.
Leaves just a 10 pin. Trying for his 3rd mark of this game.
Yes, hangs on to get the 10 pin. Oh, Gary goes 1-8-9, second time he's done it. Remember, he almost made this shot earlier.
Yeah, he just threw his hands up. He knew he was too full.
This is the first time that in the match that Gary has gone more than 1 box without marking. As he's now gone 3 in a row open. And moves over to lane 31 where he's been having trouble with the ball coming in high and full. This time in the pocket. Not the greatest leave, but possibilities here with the wood.
It's getting better.
Yep. And no.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Didn't think that would be the problem pin.
Well, look, it was a lock if he hit in between the 2 pieces of wood, which he did. But
So an opportunity for Mike Morgan here. He will probably retake the lead in the match with this ball. He does.
triangle in the right-hand corner, 4, 7, 8.
Wow. Second triangle he's missed. One each side.
It's even hard to say he missed it because it looked like he hit it perfectly, but just threw the 4-pin around the 7. 10 bucks, gains 3 and counts. So now his lead now is 7 pins.
Kind of a strange hit there, and he winds up with a strange leave. The 7-8 with no playable wood.
Mike, get the 10 now. Come on, every pin.
Can gain another in count with a 10 box. He's opposite a 9.
But that will stay a 9 as he clips the piece of wood in the channel. So the lead remains 7 as we move toward the end of game 2. It's been a terrific match, as expected. Neither guy has really been able to open up a big lead in this one.
Much like last week's match, they're looking for that knockout punch, and no one seems to have it. Although Mike Morgan found it last week, the third game. Gary off target, 4 horsemen left.
And gets it. Just clipped the head pin. Thought he might have gone by it. But it just hung on long enough. Watch it. Just. That breaks a 4-box drought for Gary.
103 plus the bonus ball.
And he pulled it. But better that than a split. Not to be, though. And Gary takes 2 more for a 9, a 116, and a 2-game total of 245.
Come on, Mike. You want to spot the 2 big ones now. Come on.
Mike does not need to mark here to maintain his lead in the match.
But I'm sure he's thinking 2 marks. Like a bigger cushion going into that third game.
The 1, 2, and 7.
Come on, Mike. You want this down, buddy. I want it right now, Morgan.
And no.
Mike, every stick. Come on, get the stick to 11.
Remember, he's the opposite of spare 4, so he'll lose some of his lead.
9-box.
Lead now is just 2 pins.
Come on, Mike. Gotta go 11.
A little high, but he gets away with it. He'll have a spare leave on the 3-6. And gets it. Spare in the 10th. Mike still with more strikes than spares in this match. 5 strikes, 4 spares to this point. And the 8 fill in the 10th for a 123. 2-game total, 256. The lead is 11 for Mike Morgan with 1 game to go. We'll be back. Mike Morgan will start game 3. He leads by 11.
Oh, big break.
He almost got the strike.
Leaves himself to 7. He's got some
Not that bad, Morgie.
wood to negotiate out front.
Get too fancy here. Come on.
I heard Mike's brother say, don't get too fancy. In other words, just go right at it, hit the wood, don't think too much.
Got it.
But that's the result I'm sure his brother wanted as well as himself.
Take advantage of that right here with a ball. on, Mikey.
10 marks now for Mike Morgan, 5 each. Six.
That one, brother, come on. We'll take that
Pull that one a
16
little bit to the
all day
left.
down.
He leaves himself the 1, 3, 6, and the 9 pin. Trying to make it 2 in a row.
Mikey, baby.
Yes.
Hey, baby, that's all.
Fine shot.
Yes, Mikey, that's a nice job right there.
The ball right clean through onto the 9 pin in the back. Gary Carrington opens with.
Oh, wow.
I thought for sure.
Gary's right at the foul line. Taking a look at this, he's definitely thinking of the wood. You got about 13 inches to shoot at there, as opposed to trying to go by it and capping the wood.
Takes it out easily.
The strategy there.
10 marks for Gary. He's only thrown 1 strike, though, today, and that was his first mark way back in the second box of the match.
Yeah, he should have had one there, I thought.
Yeah, I think everybody thought so. And how
another
about
one.
this one?
That's
He's
gone.
got that one. Boy, how close was that to a double strike? As he got the wobbler in the first box and then the bomb in the second.
Come on, boy, you loaded up, kid.
Just needs something to hit the 5. And there it is. Well, this is everything we expected. Mike Morgan working on a pair of spares. Off target again, but gets 5.
Get them all, kid. Like you a single there.
4 horsemen left plus the 10 pin, but more importantly, there's a wood in between the 1 and the 2.
Oh, got it. 3 in a row to start the game for Mike Morgan. And they've not been easy.
One almost went like 1 pin. That was quick with a 4 horseman in the 10. 3 in a row, as you said. You would think with a 6 fill and a 5 fill, he'd be due for a big fill.
Not this
no.
time.
1 and the 9, 2 pins.
Yep.
Yikes.
Both guys, it seems, Dan, have had trouble being full on the head pin on lane 31. That's the
31?
same problem that Mike had a week ago for most of the match. He'll take the 10 box.
No, he makes it count.
53 through 4.
Good job, Michael. Good job up there.
Now Gary Carrington on a strike.
Remember, he had a rocking 9 pin the last time on lane 32, which prevented him throwing the double. Light hit this time and difficult spare. 3, 5, 7, 10. Wants to be to the right of the 3 pin.
Oh, good shot, but nothing went over to get the 7.
And being the right of the 3 pin, that moves everything to the left. It gives you a shot at the 7 pin. By splitting him, there's no chance or little chance of getting the 7.
See, Mike Morgan's lead has now been cut to 5, and Gary is opposite a 10 box here. Light hit makes it work for the strike. Well, that may be the answer over on lane 31. We will take a break. Strike up in the 4th. Gary Carrington with a chance to take over the lead in the match when we come back. Folks here at Park Place Lanes are into this match.
Certainly are. You can't help it.
Throw the ball nice.
I mentioned Gary Carrington threw a strike in the 2nd box, then didn't have anything until his 3rd game. He has 2 out of the last 4 boxes.
Mike Morgan. Well, a bad break there as the 3-pin went down, but it left the plate, as did the piece of wood that hit it.
Get a 6-10, but you have a piece of wood behind it, so if he's inside the 6-pin, it might just keep one of those in play. Oh, good try. It was actually too cute with the 6. Cut it too finely. And even then, we had a piece of wood come over. Now
That's
9.
a 9. Mike calls it immediately. Each bowler with 12 marks. That's how close it is at this point. Been close all the way. Neither bowler has really been able to open up a big lead. The 1, 9, and 10 this time with wood.
He's got the head pin, 9 and 10, piece of wood behind the 1, behind the head pin, which should help him.
Oh, he missed it.
Now, big opportunity for Gary Carrington, working on a strike when he gets up there, and he's going to be facing 2 open frames, trailing by just 5.
And there it was, but it's only a 10 box now. Mike goes 3 in a row open, and as you said, Dan, that leaves the door open for Gary Carrington, who can take the lead on this strike failure. High, breaks it up a little bit. Good news here is he's filling a strike and not a spare. That establishes his lead in the match for the moment. Nine box, and he leads by 3. A 3-pin lead at this point for Gary Carrington, and opposite of 10. Oh, great hit. Strike in the 6th. 3 times on lane 31, Gary has thrown strikes in this game.
You see the last one, tripping that 4-pin. Opened with a spare, and there was a strike in the 2nd, 4th, and 6th frames, as Doug said, all on lane 31.
Mike will work on the 3-7.
Not bad, Mike. That's not bad. Come on.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes brought to you in part by Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan. Come to Salem and save right on Main Street, Route 97. Salem, New Hampshire. Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan. And Mike does not convert.
No, that's 2 in a row. He didn't hit the object pin. Give himself that good chance of making the 3-7. That was the one.
Come on, you're going to have something here, kid. Come on. Come on, Mike. You're going to have something this box right now. Here you go. Come on.
Mike is full. Leaves the split, but with some wood.
Like shooting a single again. Bang the phone, kid.
It's probably the more difficult one. He's had the last 2 boxes. This is the one that's probably going to make.
Yep. That's an important mark right there for Mike Morgan.
Certainly is. 1, gives Gary something to think about, and 2, Gary's already working on a strike and could push the lead into double figures. And you see the last spare by Mike Morgan.
Gary looking for the double. He'll have a spare lead.
Big mark. Huge, as a matter of fact. You could put one here.
He's got it.
Pushes the lead to 13 plus a ball. He's opposite of spare in the 8th by Mike Morgan.
Gary from Plastow, New Hampshire. He and his wife Kathleen have 2 children, 12-year-old Matthew and 7-year-old Michael. Gary works for AT&T in North Andover. 6 fill on his spare, taking him to 112 through 7. Oh, almost. Well, he needed to get the 1 spare while he was up there. He got that.
He'll be open here. Mike is going to need at least 1 more mark. But he would definitely like 2. He can't afford a low fill, though, on either of the marks.
Yeah, I would say probably 2 would be in order, unless maybe this first one was a strike.
And Gary Carrington gets the last bat. Oh, boy,
wow.
That ball was right in there. Good news, it's an 8-pin drop on the spare. The bad news is it's a 78, and got a double piece of wood there. Almost looked like he's going to left-hand tip and have him snap that wood, but
I don't know if either way will do much.
Oh, he did it!
Oh, and he played it in the middle.
Oh, he did.
Played that wood in the middle.
That second piece of wood must have a different angle than we could see, but because that flew that first piece right into the 7-pin immediately. Great spare.
Well, that was big, but even bigger would be this one in the 10th.
That's right. That was big. This fill is huge.
Oh, how about it? Strike on spare in the 10th. Six strikes in the match for Mike Morgan. He's at 130 plus 2 balls. Oh, a double strike would be gigantic. Not quite. Mike knew that a double strike would have made it even more difficult for Gary, and he walked almost all the way back to us trying to get that 9-pin to go down.
All kinds of possibilities now.
Yep.
Gary leading by 11 coming to these final 2 frames.
A double strike there would have forced Gary Carrington to mark twice.
Or a double strike, I think. He's going to have to mark twice anyways, right?
At least, yeah. Gary needs a 152, so he needs 30 pins in the last 2 boxes, so he needs 2 marks. Right down to the finish. 396 for Mike Morgan. And Gary will shoot at the 1, 6, and 10 with wood in the middle.
Don't like the angle of the wood.
Yes, he got it. Oh, he carried it into the corner.
Oh, man, what clutch marks going down the stretch by both bowlers.
Just enough. Actually, the 2 pieces of wood tapped together to carry that 10-pin. Gary needs another mark. He pulled that one. Well, he's given himself a chance at least.
Yeah, he's got enough on the fill. He needs this mark and then drop 3. Well, it looks to me like the head pin and the 7-pin should go pretty easily, but to have something come back for the 9, let's see.
Yes, he got it all the way down to his knees. Mike Morgan had turned completely around. He was not watching. The spare in the 10th, and Gary needs 3 pins to win. The 1, 7, and 9 for the spare. That's 16 marks for each bowler in this match. Wow, what a show.
Well, I was wrong. I said it would take 400 to win, and it might take about 399. Oh, actually, Gary got a shot at 400.
He needs only 3 to win, though. Watch out. He got 3.
Oh.
He got exactly what he needed. He wins by 1. 397 to 396. Gary Carrington takes it. And we will be back to talk about it and see if we can't give away some more money in the bonus ball after this. And welcome back to Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Mike Morgan takes a check for $250, and it was a heck of a match. I know obviously you'd rather win it, but it was terrific stuff.
Yeah, at least I put a little pressure on him. But see, he's a great bowler, so he got the marks he had to get. And, you know, the key was if that double fell, I mean, he would have needed a couple big ones, you know. So, I mean, I left him enough room where he threw the 2 marks, and he did what he had to do.
Mike, congratulations. You got the big win last week, and I hope we'll see you again sometime real soon.
It was a lot of fun. Thank you.
All right. Mike, congratulations, Mike Morgan. And now Gary Carrington for our bonus ball contest. An even $200 this week. We haven't been up this high in a long, long time. We've not had a winner this season yet. A couple of brand new sets of bowling balls on the line as well. See if we can get a match here. It is a 7. Let's see. Come on over here, Gary, and we'll talk. Wow. The expectations on you were big, Gary. Gene Carteret from Allenstown, New Hampshire, guessed a strike. So, not enough. 7's not enough. So we're going to go up to 210 next week. Well, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time to talk about this one, but well, that was terrific stuff. Obviously, you knew exactly what you needed there at the end.
I was shaking so much. I had no idea what I needed. No, it was. Mike put the pressure on me big time. That shows you what kind of bowler he is. You know, he's down a few pins and finishes like that. Put the pressure on me. I was lucky with my fills. I hit the quad both times and got good breaks. So.
Well, now you're into the finals and a little grudge match against Mr. Ashline, right?
There's no grudge against him.
I know you're looking forward to it, so are we. Gary Carrington is the winner, and we will be back next weekend here on the Winds of New England. Saturday at noon for Candlepin Skins, Sunday at noon for the championship match, Gary Carrington against Joe Ashline. Until then, for all of us here at the Winds, I'm Doug Brown. Have a great week, everybody.